Ache olofi. Ache olodumare. Ache olorun. Ache. Bobo egun. Maferefun egun. Maferefun. Akota cheda ye papa bobo egun araru no lowas. Ia locha baba locha. Omokalabe egun. Ocha. Labe tembelese. Olodumare. Ibayabeyetno egun. Achela ocha, but mafrefun egun. We'll go here. Hopefully, I'll be able to make it through this video without my phone dying. Going to move very quickly. Let's start off with health. Virus is still potent, still kicking. Let me see if I can put it down here. Still kicking. There's a lot, and I'm sure you guys all feel the same way. Trying to get where the light is not so. There we go. So there's a lot going on, right? And I feel Ochun laughing with anger inside of me. So let's kick it off. Health. Still protect yourself. You know, don't be stupid. You don't have any magical powers. Wear your mask. Stay away from people, large groups. If there's a ceremony you're going to do. I just recently did a ceremony. Perdón. I just recently did a ceremony, and my Oba, everyone who did this ceremony, we all wore masks. Did a misa, we wore masks. So, yeah, I mean, just use your head when it comes to these things. You know, you're a human being. Your body is decomposable. So, remember that. Take care of your body. And then we have what's going on with the Ogunda energy. You know, I'm stuttering. I feel the same way about what's going on with the murder of our fellow American. But Egun is angry with the behavior of the hostile response to the land. Because, yes, we should feel angry, but violence is not the response that should be given. We should respond in the peaceful way of our ancestors of this land, of the United States, which would be Martin Luther King, Ibaye, the Panthers, those who are living and those who have passed, Ibaye. These people revolted in a civilized and humane way. And the youth of that is revolting now should look and pay attention to those who have paved the way for us. The cities that are being burned down were built by the hands of our ancestors, the slaves. They're the ones who built that Target that you burnt down. They're the ones who built up Atlanta. Okay? So to burn down with what your grandparents have built up is a disgrace. And it is not backed by our ancestors, by your ancestors. Your voice is the weapon that you should be fighting with. Your voice is the knife, is the dagger. Use Obara, use your tongue. Because now what we have is The other side is winning. They're winning because we're, again, burning down what we have built. The city is built by the blood and the sweat of the minorities, okay? And to physically burn down what they work so hard to build is a lack of intelligence. And that is why the white supremacy deems us as a minority nation that is animalistic. We are not animals. We are civilized people. Our ancestors of Africa are civilized people. We are misrepresenting our ancestors and our lineage through these riots. It's not getting us anywhere. It's not getting us anywhere. Your voice is. The young man who I saw, which all of you have probably seen, who sung that emotional song about being a black man and seeing what he's seen. This was powerful. And it touched all of you. It touched my heart. The riots do nothing. The fires, the looting do nothing. It's just going to be back on you to build it back up once all of that is done. You will be the ones who will need to repair the streets and build those things back up. It's more work for you, more labor. Not only that, but the youth have now been labeled beastly and animalistic. You know, my godfather, Kinkamache Obayirawo, always says, you know, use your head, and this is not the way. This is not the way. This is not the way, guys. So, if you're watching this, you're probably a spiritual person, right? It's time. It's time for us to get in that spiritual mode. It's time for us to fight spiritually. Maferefuno batala, maferefune yongle. But Egun is the one that's going to really pull this through. You know, it is Ochun's year, and we cannot forget Ochun, because she is the reason to enjoy life. But Egun will be the one to pull this through now, because we have, and not all of us, but Egun is upset. Egun does not back the rioting up whatsoever. So, with that said, witches, I'm calling on you. There is a spiritual war also. And I'm sure the man who is representing the United States also has his spiritual backing also. It's time for us to spiritually fight. And I'm not talking about going to, you know, well, I don't know. You have to really seek out, you know, maybe it is time for the paleros to step up and Indoki to empower themselves. But, you know, for many generations, not many generations, but we witches have always sat in the back, in the forest, in the cut, and we still live happily. Our life, I mean, I'm living great, peaceful. My home is peaceful. And I could literally just sit back here in peace. But being aware that I do have to step out of my comfort zone into the world to go to work and do certain things, I know I am protected, but I think it's time for us to to lend a hand to aleos and to those who are unaware of their spiritual, um, the spiritual powers and spiritual backing that we have. So, I need you, my spiritual people. I need you to go to your Boveda. I need you to awaken your spiritual senses. And I need you to meditate and see where you are able and spiritually strength in your strong arm um, to first of all awaken your community spiritually, um, to stop this rioting and stop this violence, to bring people and to open their eyes that our strength is with our words and not physically with violence, because violence begets violence, and this is the whole story of Ogunda. And I know Echu is having a good time out there. I know Echu is eating well. But the violence is not feeding our soul. It's not feeding our future. Our future. And that's what I got. I probably won't save this video because as you can see, I'm kind of lost for words. But it's time for the witches to come. It's time for the witches to stand. Broom to broom. Hueso con hueso. And ota a ota for my abures and ocha. Maferefuno batala. I know a lot of people have been praying for world peace. But Maferefun Ayaguna. Ayaguna. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. Let's get our opaiku. Let's say the name of our ancestors to awaken, and also to tie the hands of the rioters. We need their hands tied. They gotta stop this burning down our cities, because we need the city to survive. We just need the criminals to be held accountable. Maferefuno chosi. Okay? Don't go out there and play with the police. This is not a time to get in the police faces, because ultimately they're doing a job, and they too have families, and they too are trying to collect a check. They too live in the place, you know. And the most powerful message that we can get through is through marching. Yes, for those of you who are called to march, but don't destroy where you live. Don't destroy where your grandparents live if they're still alive. Don't destroy the land that the slaves have built, because when it's all said and done, you will have nothing. You will have nothing. So just remember that. Plan for the future. If it's the representative of the United States that you're angry at, aim it at him. Don't aim it at your next door neighbor, you know. Because again, like I said, they're winning. They are winning. They're winning. And we have to stop this. And to go on top of that, This is a time where I would call on my elders of Ocha. This is a time when I was a child, and the Panthers and things were out. And this is a time when I used to hear my grandmother say, it's time for a tambor. It's time for some booyah songs. We need to call on the dancers. This is the time when the dancers should actually be dancing. I'm a dancer. But this is the time for us to dance. It's the time for the Orisha to come down, you know, to assist us and to guide us. This is the time for Palo. This is the time for the Ganga to speak, to guide us, and to. This is the time to be spiritual. This is the time to be spiritually fit. So, I understand the virus is still out there. And I even remember when my grandmother, she used to just have like 6 people. Um, and with the bata drummers, but 6 people. The oldest in the Rama or in the Ile. That no kids allowed. The Orisha, come down. You know, give a message, and then they would give that message to the community. This is what the Orisha has said. Um, this is the time for Italeros, Maferefun Nangalero. I understand Olofio Olodumare, you know. I understand. But we live right here on this earth, and the Orishas are of the earth, and they know the way. The land is prospering. The land has never been so green. So we need to call on the Orisha. We need them to come down um, and speak, you know. That's what I got. That's what I got, guys. This is the time that we call Ochun down. This is the time. It's the time to call Ibukole. You know. The dancer who has the most years, or sometimes it's the youngest dancer. It's time, because we're not sure what's going to happen in November either. Okay. That's all I got. And I'm going to impress this upon, Ibaye Mayoba, he has passed away. But I do have some other elders I could reach out to and suggest some things, But I do feel Egun is upset also. A Cajona Muerto might even be something that we might look into. But Achela Ocha, we will survive. I'm just calling on you to be the spiritual you. All this talk about your magic, it's time. It's time. Ache, I go.